Well, she's in the coffee house next door. Amanda Wall is with us, and Cheryl Freeborough is among the business people gathered there. Todd Pride is there as well. Cheryl, I see now that the auto numbers came in yesterday, by the way, and you're already smiling at the prospect of what I'm going to say, because Hyundai fared very, very well. They had a 19% sales gain.
Yeah, we had a 75% sales gain from last year, the same month.
No kidding.
Honest goodness, it was great. And can I tell you real quick, too, off the subject a little bit, we are having another bake sale today.
All right.
Actually, remembered bake sale, and it's for juvenile diabetes again, which the walk is this Saturday. But we had a great bake sale, and we've raised a great amount of money, and it's a fabulous, fabulous reason to do it for this.
Where is that and what time?
At Saturn of Grant.
Hey, wait a minute. If you want those 75% sales increases, you're going to have to forget about Saturn.
I just got blown away. Hyundai of Lansing and Grand Ledge on Saginaw Highway.
At what time?
It starts this morning and goes for the day until 6 o'clock.
All right. Will there be key lime pie by any chance?
Yes. No key lime pie, but some great blueberry bread, and I made sinkers.
What's that? Is that a drink?
Sinkers are a great chocolate cupcake that you drop in the middle, cream cheese and chocolate chips. And they're actually fabulous. So.
Wow. Thank you very much. Amanda, if you would hustle back in here, because we got some business to do with you, too. And Scott Danek, we're going to eventually have Mayor Bernero come in here and face the music with the rest of us here. But what would you like to ask him when he shows up?
Well, he has the endorsement of most of the unions around the state, and he's very proud of that, and as he should be. And he mentioned this morning that he's for the working class, and I mentioned earlier today that I think one of the fundamental things we need to do at the state, as well as nationally, but he has to do with the state, is structural reform. And I know from my experience on the school board that any organization that's a public organization is going to have the majority of their costs be labor. How is he going to, if he is elected, and if he is serious about transforming the state, how is he going to gain the support of his constituents in sharing the pain? And I don't mean that it's just their fault, because it's not, because we all have to pull up our proverbial bootstraps. But that'll just be an interesting sale for him to make, because that is part of, in my opinion, of the structural reform that's needed. So.
Yeah, it would be interesting. This is Craig Godfrey. Just overall, what's your plan to grow businesses, diversify, attract businesses to Michigan? And it'd be interesting to hear, overall what that answer would be.
All right, just to lighten things up here before we go, our producer Amanda Wall's taking her honeymoon at long last, because she got married last October, I think it was, right? Yeah. And your mic's not working, but anyway, last October. And now she's taking her honeymoon to Maui. I'm going to Jackson. She's going to Maui. I don't know where you're going next week or anything like that. But I heard a lot of people at this table say they'd been there. Could you go around and just give her any advice for visiting the Garden Island?
Gary Doty. We went there for our, I think, 30th wedding anniversary, which was in January. So I don't know if this will apply, Amanda, but the most enjoyable thing we did was go whale watching, and we went out about 4 or 5 times on catamarans and had whales within 10 feet of the boat, and it was absolutely awesome.
Do you remember where you stayed?
We were talking about that earlier. It was a really nice place.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the hotel, but it was near it was around when they had the first, you'll know this, Michael Patrick, is the first big golf tournament of the year is always on Maui.
Yeah.
And we were right next to the golf course.
Oh, you were either at Kaanapali?
That's where we were.
Okay.
That's where we were.
Yeah, that's a nice beach there, too, and you can see some of the other islands from that beach, too.
Yes, beautiful view.
Yeah. I remember I was swimming in the beach there, in the ocean there, off that beach, and looking at those 2 islands, and suddenly I saw a submarine surface on the horizon and a military submarine. That was pretty cool. It wasn't a whale, but it was kind of like that. Anybody else?
Amanda, if you get a chance, this is Scott Danek, I'd go horseback riding on Mount Haleakala. I'm not a horse guy. Guilty as charged, they scare me. I don't even go to county fairs. But I did it because Jill really enjoys it and really wanted to do it, and it was wonderful. It was one of the best things we did. And when you go swimming, if you're there, of course, I don't know if there are going to be any whales there now. I remember the whales, but I remember them not because we went out, but because when you're swimming in January and February, you can literally hear them underwater calling to each other right at the beach. It's
Whale
just like
song.
being in part of a PBS special. It's really cool.
Yeah, a little
And
snorkeling.
I would suggest, Amanda, George Volman here from Volman Ford, make sure you do, you go and snorkel and be careful of the riptides. And it's not just the danger of the riptides, it's pulling your suit off.
Wait a minute, George, it's a honeymoon. Anybody else with the Maui advice?
I have another comment. I don't know if you're a backseat driver, but we took the road to Hana. And if you're a backseat driver, you may not want to do that. I mean, you literally go around
very
hairpin
curves.
turns that are one lane, and somebody has to back up. But the best part of that trip was we hiked in a bamboo forest back to a waterfall, and that was unbelievable.
And then what happened?
Well, when the wind blows,
We'll leave it right there. Okay. Thank you very much. Peggy and Gary Doty, Doty Mechanical, Heating and Cooling, Scott Danick and Jim Trebilcock, Trebilcock and Danick Financial, George Volman, Volman Ford, Craig Godfrey, Godfrey Weisberg, CPAs and Advisors. You can hear it all again or connect with any of them at spotlightmm.com. I'm Michael Patrick Shields saying aloha, and Suzanne Heward, who created this networking group, closes it out by saying,
That's a wrap.